Hello, 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 I am Steel, and welcome back to another episode on the Brass mod pack. So as you can see, I've actually completed the factory since the last episode. Fully done the interior and everything with these lights and scaffolding everywhere and whatever else. And I will have some more machinery and stuff in this empty space, but I'll do that afterwards. But what was that weird looking thing out there? Well, what I want to do next is I want to build a power plant, like a proper full-scale power station in this massive area here. In the immersive engineering mod, the best way to do that is with what's called a diesel generator. Let me find it. A diesel generator, so you feed it diesel and it makes power. It's a pretty fancy little thing. Thing is, getting diesel is a little bit annoying because either you can get it from crude oil mined from the ground or you can produce it from plants. I don't want to produce it from plants because the processing chain for that is annoying. So instead I need to mine it from the ground, but I don't actually know whereabouts you can mine it from the ground, which is where this lovely device here comes in. It's called a core sample drill, and what it does is it takes a sample of the ground and tells me what stuff can be mined by an excavator or a pump jack from this area when I click on it. And I've just got a capacitor here with power on it. So if we hit that, it starts running, runs down, and I believe it will soon deliver us a core sample. Here we go. Looks like it's coming back up. I haven't actually used this thing before. Hello? Okay. Look at that. What have we got? Look at that. We've got laterite. I don't know what that is. We've got coal and a crude oil reservoir right here in this chunk here. So I might... Okay, so we've got oil, coal, iron and bauxite, which is aluminium. So I might look at some other ones though as well, because this is a little bit of an inconvenient location to set up pump jacks. I kind of want to have the power station itself here and maybe have the pump jacks over here, though I may have to move that and build oil processing in this section and clear an area that way for the power station. We shall see. So I'll come back to you once I've taken more core samples and figured out what the best location to mine oil is. So it's actually been a few days since the last segment, and I haven't had enough time to record a full segment, but I have gotten a fair bit of progress done. So as you can see, we've got all these lights going down the main street. I cleared a massive area. I'll deal with those guys later. And we've got this mess over here. I'll explain what that is afterwards, but first, this is the area where I located an oil chunk. So this here is what's going to become a pump jack, pumping the oil up from the ground. We've got it all connected up to the cables already, even though I haven't formed the multi-block. And this will be the oil refining tower, distillation tower. So that splits the crude oil into gasoline, lubricant, and diesel. Diesel's the part we actually want to make power our generators, which we'll put in a building over there. But what about this mess of complicated looking cables? What this is going to be once I hook it up is a sort of switchboard and transformer yard where I can enable and disable different things. So what I've got, these things here are breaker switches. Basically they just disconnect the two wires on each side from each other if I give them a redstone signal. So at the moment we've got, so this one will be the main power grid, so this will connect up to a wider network of similar little stations. This one will connect to the power plant itself, so we'll be able to disconnect the diesel power plant if we want. This one goes from high voltage wires to a transformer into low voltage wires so I can power these lanterns, and that's just got a little switch here so I can turn those on and off. And then this is the this one goes from that breaker switch to a transformer into that factory there, so that eventually this factory will be able to receive power from the diesel generation and everything, and also send power to the rest of the grid as a whole. But at the moment it's all disconnected because that factory doesn't have enough power to actually run anything. But what I want to do now is form these multi-blocks so we can get an idea of what they'll look like. This thing here is just a fluid pump so that I can get the oil moving down the line. So if I'm correct, we whack this one. No. Hold on. Maybe from this side? Maybe we need to remove this. There we go. Look at that. Right, so that's the pump jack. So now we'll just reconnect that stuff that we just removed. Oops. And then the only other thing we need to do is create this oil refining tower. And I believe for that one we whack one of these blocks here. There we go. Look at that. So that thing is our oil refining tower, and it's got this lovely convenient little ladder up the side so we can walk up and down and take a look at our oil processing system as it operates. Oops. Okay. So theoretically that means if we connect everything up, this should kick into gear. What we might need to do is just bring over a high voltage capacitor and connect it up manually, because this clearly isn't working, so I'll try that. Alright, so now this thing's fully charged because I've just stuck a capacitor on top, so hopefully if we flick this lever it will start running. Okay, the pipe is connected up, so take 3, let's try and fire this thing into action. Is it working? God damn it. What if... Does that work? Oh, thank the gods. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? How quickly... Oh my god, it's draining that thing fast. But we are pumping oil now. And it's filling up quite fast. So that is pretty much step 1 in our quest to solve power problems. So the next thing we've got to do is actually build the diesel power plant we have planned. I'm going to have to clear this area backwards a bit and that way a bit more, and then I can start constructing the diesel power plant and we can connect everything up and whatever, which should be brilliant. Well then, I got a little carried away and actually went ahead and built pretty much the whole facility, and I also added, so from the oil refinery I had left over a bit of bitumen, which is it's just a byproduct, but you can use it to make this black asphalt concrete. And the convenient thing about this is that you can travel real fast on it, which is rather convenient. So anyway, I've also built up the actual diesel power plant now, so the whole building's complete. The inside is unfinished. As you can see, I haven't finished these structural supports, but that's because they're made of steel, which I needed for these things, which are the diesel generators themselves, or rather they will be once I form them with the hammer. But these things are not cheap, let me tell you. These things here, these heavy engineering blocks, for each diesel generator, I need 60 steel in heavy engineering blocks alone, and then there's these radiator blocks, generator blocks, and steel scaffolding, all use more steel. However, I do believe that now I should be able to hit the hammer and get everything turned into diesel generators. So that's what these things look like. They're pretty snazzy, so this fan spins around at the back. In terms of how they work, it's basically just an internal combustion engine, but instead of driving a set of wheels, it drives a little bit of makes electricity at the end here, sorry. So I need to form all of these. I won't actually need to run all 4 at first. I'll be able to probably only use one of them, really. I need a couple of levers, and then I'll be able to actually fire up this whole facility, which should be noisy as all hell, first of all, but secondly, really, really cool. Unfortunately, I don't think any of them have diesel in them yet, and that will be because this thing is not connected, first of all. So we'll give that some wiring. This thing will be pumping, there's a pipeline leading all the way over to the tank full of diesel over there. So this should, in theory, pull the, hold on, why is that not working? There we go. It should, in theory, pull the diesel from that tank, pump it up into these things, and we should be able to just send it throughout to all these diesel generators. You might notice that there's a fair bit of empty space on this side, and that's because what I want to do is I want to set up biodiesel production. Because while I don't need it at the moment, thanks to the oil reserves, those oil reserves will eventually deplete, and also, biodiesel is used to fuel fancy tools from the immersive engineering mod, like the buzzsaw, which lets you chop down whole trees in a single cut, and the mining drill, which lets you mine through a 3x3 area of any block. So I need to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a lever and we'll try and fire this system up. Okay, so I'm on the pause screen right now because rather unexpectedly, turning on the lever actually started the diesel generator even though there was no power in the pump at the time. Which is really convenient but also very noisy. Listen to this. Yeah, these things are noisy as all heck. Which one's actually running? Not that one. One's running, I see. So we've got enough for one, and I'm actually going to head over to the oil factory and see if I can, because in theory we should have enough power to run literally everything. We are draining through our diesel reserves very quickly. However, if I connect that up and connect that up, the whole thing starts. Yeah, but we're definitely not really producing enough diesel to keep up with demand. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, yeah, all the diesel generators have kicked in, that's what our problem is. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to put levers on these. Actually, do I have a screwdriver? Because then I can just set them to only turn on when they receive. I do. Right, so we only need one of these running. Redstone control inverted, redstone control inverted. Hold on, oh, you need to do it here. Inverted. Inverted, right. This one can be inverted, and this one can just be inverted as well, and we'll pop a lever on that one so that that one runs. And now, our power problem should be solved. Like, we should be able to run everything easily. How's that? Yeah, this thing's filling up fast. Look at that. And all of these should be at full power. This is at full power. And we should actually, now we'll be able to turn on the lights and everything. This is brilliant. Yep, everything can run. We can just connect it all up. Everything is connected and everything is running. The power grid isn't connected because there is no power grid as of yet. But this is brilliant. This is our power needs solved for the foreseeable future. Like, 4 diesel generators? That's a lot of energy. How's my... oh, that's right. One thing I do need to do, though, is I want to install something called a current transformer in here so that I can actually read the total output of these diesel power plants. But I think I can actually... No, you can't. But man, this thing... Yeah, these things kick out like a good 8,000 RF per tick. So, it's absolutely brilliant. Are we filling up with diesel here or still losing out? We're still losing out. We're using all the diesel we have. But soon, once this energy buffer fills up, I think what will happen is that the whole thing will stop operating. Oh, hello. There you go, that's a problem. So we'll shut this down. Okay, so there you go. It runs out of diesel fairly fast. That's what that horrible noise was. However, we've got so much stored up in just that brief little period of time, we can still run everything. So I'm just going to disconnect everything except the oil production, including the lights. And should... Oh, wait, no, wait. The oil production... Yeah, no, that should keep running for a little while, actually. How are we going here? Still not filling up, but we are definitely, like, gaining in terms of oil and power and everything. But yeah, as you saw there, I'm definitely going to need to install a section to produce biodiesel, which is made from plants, because as you saw there, we don't even have enough diesel to sustainably run 1 generator, let alone the 4 that we've got in there. But it may help to just build more pump jacks. Uh-oh, lag spike. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build up the biodiesel production systems, and I think that actually might be it for this episode, because next episode I want to recuperate our steel supplies, and so for that I'll be building a steel mill, which is another large project for another episode. But it looks like my game's about to crash. Right, so the first thing I did was I actually built a second pump jack here, just so that we can actually pull up more oil from underground here, which is convenient. This stuff's not running at the moment because I've turned it off. But as you can see, we've built up a fair bit of diesel in storage there. I haven't actually sent it through, but the other thing is that on the inside of here, we've got a lot more stuff going on. What is all this? Well, once I whack these things with a hammer and form the multi-blocks, this will be a system to produce pretty good quantities of biodiesel, which is the plant-based version of regular diesel, which we will need eventually, because the thing with those pump jacks is that just like in real life, the oil reserves are finite. They run out eventually, and when that happens, unless we have some other method of producing diesel, we're just going to have a power cut through our whole base, which will be, of course, a major problem. So I'm going to go through and hit everything with these hammers. Oh yeah, what's annoying as heck, by the way, so all these machines, you'd think that, oh, the difficult part would be like all the steel that's needed, or all the iron and metal and whatever. Nope. The hard part was the conveyor belts. That was the thing that took me the longest, because they use leather and I don't have that in ready supply. Anyway, right, so that's the refinery. So this thing will combine plant oil and ethanol to create biodiesel. So then these ones are the squeezers, so they should be the ones that actually make the plant oil from seeds. There we go. And then on this side we've got the fermenters, which make ethanol from potatoes. So the way this works is that, hold on, let me try and get out of here first. Right, the way that this whole system works is that these things here are garden cloches, so they grow stuff nice and fast. These things are just like a fancier form of power transmission. They're from mechanism and they aren't wires, so I can't get electric shock from running into them. Very convenient. So these ones grow potatoes, and those go through onto these conveyor belts and get evenly split out and go into the fermenters to make ethanol. On this side, this thing's growing cabbages, and we don't actually need the cabbages themselves, we only need the seeds. So this item router here is outputting the cabbage to the top into storage here, and then any seeds go along into these squeezers, and then the squeezers just output through pipes underneath and put it into the refinery. So in theory, if I start putting the excess of stuff, unfortunately we will be producing less plant oil than ethanol, so it won't be like a perfectly balanced setup, but I can't really like fix that without doing annoying stuff with ratios and building all sorts of junk and whatever. So that's that one running. And now we'll set these running. We want seeds and seeds. And that's how, so that unfortunately they don't make any noise, which is a little annoying. It would be convenient if they did. So the other thing I need to do now is just connect this system actually up to the power grid, because all these machines aren't connected to the power for everything else yet. And then I need to actually pump a bit of diesel in, because none of these diesel generators have enough power to operate. So we'll just turn on this one and flick that lever for a bit. And that should get everything going. Yep. So this is now producing biodiesel. I think. Maybe? These have... I don't know what's going on here. Let's just keep this going. Okay. So hopefully that'll start producing proper... Oh, right. We need more than that, of course. There we go. So now we're producing biodiesel and storing it up in there, which is exactly what we need to be doing. So I don't want to run into those high voltage wires because I will die. But it looks like everything is running. Yes? I think so. Yep, they're growing. And so what will happen is that in a moment, there you go. And so now it gets split evenly between those two sides. Pops. Oh, that's right. What did I need here? I needed something else. I couldn't just use a regular conveyor. The covered extracting... Shoot. Ah, heck. What? I can't remember what I was supposed to do here, because this obviously isn't working, as you can see. It doesn't just... Oh wait, no, I've just connected these conveyor belts wrong. Jesus Christ, I'm an idiot. Right, I'll be back in a moment. This orange hatch is the input, not here, so I'll be fixing that in a minute. Okay, everything is connected up, like the conveyors are plugged in correctly, so it should all be operating. We've got biodiesel in here, a lever on here so we can activate that if need be. So in theory, our diesel power plant should now be fully operational. That's all going up still? Question mark? Do these operate? Okay, so I think this one will need a wire connector on it as well, so I'll just connect that up. And then in theory, whoops, we should be able to have a fully functional biodiesel power plant. Huh, I didn't get shocked by that. That's good to hear. Okay. Working? That should be working. You know what it is. So we don't actually need as much power as we're producing. Diesel generators don't produce when they aren't needed. So if we connect that up, now it should kick into gear, yes, and we should be... working? Why are we not... What is going on here? Hello? Why is this system not operating? This is all growing correctly. That's not inputting? Why is that not inputting? What? What? That's the input. It should be inputting. Oh, wait, blue is input, isn't it? Damn it, I've put all these multi-blocks around the wrong way, and none of them are going to work. God damn it. Okay, I'm going to be right back. Okay, so actually I'm an idiot, and it wasn't anything to do with the direction of the multi-blocks. I just set up the conveyor belts wrong for a second time. So, because I actually built this thing in creative mode once before, and I hadn't quite followed the creative mode's blueprints correctly when I built this. But now it should be able to work. So in theory now this isn't working. What about this one? Got no diesel. Let's pump a bit in. Now that's running. Okay, so now in theory this should be... That's got power. Oh right, that needs a lever on it, doesn't it? So now if we flick that lever, now this should be able to run, yeah? What? I'm gonna try and fix this off camera, and I'll explain to you what I've done when I do, but I'm genuinely really confused as to why this isn't pumping the biodiesel out. I'm not really sure what went wrong, to be honest, because I've fixed it now. I don't even know how. It just suddenly... Ow! Right, I forgot about that. I'll need to get Faraday armor. Yeah, high voltage wires as you saw there, they do a lot of damage. I have an extra 6 hearts on top of the normal, and it just killed me like that, which is not ideal. Right, I actually genuinely have no idea what I did, but the whole thing seems to be working now. I don't understand how, I don't understand why, don't actually understand anything anymore. It seems that it's working because the biodiesel drained out and is supposedly being used. Let me see if I can get down here safely. Are we actually growing plants? Are these working? Yes, we are. We're growing cabbage seeds. So, in theory, this whole system should be working now, right? Hold on, my game's just frozen. There we go. Pretty sure everything's functional. Wait, this isn't... Oh, okay, hold on a moment. This whole... I've forgotten to... I'm an idiot. I've forgotten to wire up the squeezers. Those over there, they don't have any power because I'm just that dumb. Oh gosh, this is a bit of a fiasco. I keep having issues with every step of the way, all entirely down to my own stupidity because there's no reason for any of this to not be working perfectly. Like, it's all great machinery. Ow! See, I'm just stupid. Here we go. Right, so those are now squeezing, which means this will now be you doing that. So now this will allow us to pump out the biodiesel, and now we can generate electricity. Right, that's what we want. And it is getting used, as you can see, because there's, like, you would think that there'd be biodiesel appearing here, but there's not because it's getting pumped out. Whereas now I believe it should... No? I don't understand anything anymore. But this is really good, because this means that our power problems are, in theory at least, completely solved. We should be able to just run everything, and it should keep running. There shouldn't be issues of, like, running out of power halfway through some sort of process or whatever. We should just have the electricity to do it. So what I'm going to do is that in the next episode, I'm going to build a secondary power plant to make use of the gasoline and a steel mill. Secondary power plant, you ask? Yeah, because stuff here fills up pretty quickly as a result of the oil refining, and that's a bit of an issue because, of course, like, if this fills up completely, the whole system will stop running because it won't be able to produce anything from the crude oil because it'll all be clogged with gasoline. So we're going to build a secondary power plant to use up the gasoline for power, which will be quite expensive and annoying, but it will work at least. And also we want to put a proper steel mill to produce as much steel as possible from as little resources as possible. So with that, I'm going to end this episode. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.